Alrighty. Welcome back. This is part 2 of fundamental analysis. Today we're going to be talking about qualitative fundamental analysis. I have a brand new marker, still blue, but it seems to be doing even worse than the old one. So we'll see how this carries out. Also, you might be, if you can't tell, my voice is dying. I'm losing my voice because this is coming right off of the first part of fundamental analysis, which took almost an hour. So we'll try to keep this one short. I think it should be short. So let's dive in. It should be a lot easier to digest, I will say, than quantitative fundamental analysis. So there are 4 main parts of this, so we'll just go in order. The first is the business model. Maybe the most important part, but that's contestable. What the business model is, it's the plan for the business to make profit. Right? All businesses exist to make money. A business can't survive without making money, so all companies will try to do it. And some companies are better at that than others. So some key points in the business model: what are the products or services? Who is the business trying to sell to? Call that a target market. What is the intended demographic, the audience? Are they trying to sell to young children? Are they trying to sell to college students? Stuff like that. Who are they trying to sell it to? Next thing, how can expenses be managed? Right? For profit, you can profit is revenue minus expenses. So we can either to make more profit, we can either increase revenue or decrease expenses. So how can we manage the expenses of the company? Is there do they have like a specific department designed to mitigate costs? Stuff like that. How can the business satisfy customers? For example, do they have really good customer service? Do they have really low costs? All of these things customers look for, and if the business offers them, then they will be happy. So a business wants to satisfy customers because if they satisfy them, if the customers are happy, and more importantly, if they prefer the business over other people, then we get repeat customers. We get loyal customers that keep coming back. Profit. Finally, what makes it special? This will tie into our next point, our next section of qualitative fundamental analysis. But why should you prefer the business over something else? What is the standout point? So these what is it, five points of a business model are the key components, and you want to look for them. You can find them on a business's website. I'll put it down here. Find information on it on their website. And why should we care about this? Well, a strong business model that the company sticks to, that's important. I'm going to underline that. That the company sticks to gives the company direction and profit. Direction. What I mean by direction is that you know how the company operates, and It's not like they're gonna wander like aimlessly, like they don't know what to do. The model will, it's kind of like a blueprint that will tell the company like what to do next, what can you do to improve. That's what I mean by direction, and that in turn leads to profit. But obviously it's important that the company sticks to it. No, no matter if the company has like the best business model in the entire world, if the company doesn't adhere to it and make sure to follow it, it's useless because it's not going to be able to benefit the company and they're not going to make profit. So this is pretty abstract, obviously, but if you can identify this and if the company has a really good model, a business model on how they can easily make profit, then you can tell that that is a strong company that you should consider investing in. Next, competitive advantage. What is that? Well, it's something the company has that keeps the company at the top of the industry, or brings it there. If it starts like it's a newcomer and then it has something that can bring it to the top, that counts too. It's some special characteristic, which goes back to what I talked about in the business model. So, like, what makes a company special? What gives it an advantage over what gives it an advantage over the over other companies in the same industry? Some examples I'll throw down: brand recognition. Take for example Apple. Everyone knows Apple, and most people have iPhones, have Apple products, and so it's very difficult for a competitor to compete with Apple because Apple is so widely known. Everyone loves it. That well, most people love it. That people don't want to switch, and so Apple keeps making money. Apple's been around for years, and it keeps making money because it's recognized. We can have also an innovative product. Say Tesla, the electric car industry, it completely came in new, and it designed a working product that people loved, and so now, like, who can compete with Tesla? Finally, I'll throw down a reputation for high quality. If people know that your company like delivers good products, well-made products that work well, or like food that tastes good, they're gonna keep coming back, and that's an advantage for you. Some people call a competitive advantage like a moat. Like if you're like if you know your castle terminology, like a castle has like a river around it, or like a body of water around it that stops other people from entering. Uh, Competitive advantage is the same, right? Because it's this barrier around a company that prevents people from competing with it. So it's called a moat. The famous investor Warren Buffett bought Coca-Cola. I think I might have talked about this before, but he bought Coca-Cola because Coca-Cola has such a brand, like everyone knows Coca-Cola as like this as a tasty product, a good tasty soda. Everyone knows it. It's one of the top competitors in the beverage industry, and so like a newcomer in the soda industry is not going to be able to easily compete with Coca-Cola. It has a moat around it that makes it hard for people to compete with it. And so that's why even after however many decades it's been in business, it's still bringing in profit, still bringing money, and still rewarding shareholders. So that's what makes this important. It gives a competitive advantage. It gives a company longevity. Another word to say it, it won't be made obsolete by another company. Competitors won't be able to easily take it down. We'll say longevity, gives it longevity. The company's able to last. And obviously, the result is that it increases the stock price because it keeps bringing in profit over a long period of time. No one can compete with it, so it's a powerful company. That is competitive advantage. Next, third factor, management. Management, pretty straightforward. How well the leaders of the company can stick to the business model. I'll abbreviate that. That's not a bus model, that's business model. And keep the company running well. So obviously, like I said before, a business model is useless if the leaders of the company can't stick to it. So we want reputable leaders that can reputable like CEOs, other high executive positions that are able to properly run the company, manage it, and make sure it sticks to this plan and keeps bringing in profit. How we can analyze management? We can check their resumes. That's like all public information. Check resumes. What we can look for. A small factor we can consider. You don't have to consider it. It's just something that I think a lot of people do consider it, even though it's not as important. We can see their colleges, where they graduated. If you look at like most high level company executives, like Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, both went to Harvard. So you want smart leaders. Obviously, the college is not an indicator of how smart they are, but it's still like there's a correlation there. So we want to look at the college. You can look at the college if you want, where they went to school. But really more importantly, what we care about more is how they did in previous jobs. Now, some people like Mark Zuckerberg. Mark Zuckerberg founded Facebook as he dropped out of college, so like he didn't really have a previous job. But most CEOs are gonna have like a job before their current CEO position. So we want to see how they did in that job. Like, were they able to keep their old company like running successfully? How is the success there? Pretty straightforward stuff, but very important. We want to make sure that their leaders are effective and can stick to the plan. Finally, perhaps the most complex one: corporate governance. You may have heard of the previous three. You probably haven't heard of this one. What is corporate governance? What it is, it's the system of rules and policies that a business follows. In that way, it's kind of similar to the business model. But what this does is it establishes the values of the company. And so, like, clearly it's pretty important here because the systems of the rules and what the business has to follow, what the employees have to follow, it sort of dictates the image of the company, the reputation. I'll get into that later. Before we do that, I'll provide some background on corporate governance. It's set by the board of directors. That's just like a group of people that kind of run the company. They make the decisions like here, like they set the rules and policies, all that stuff. And the board of directors represents the shareholders of the company. So like they're the voice of the shareholders, and they basically communicate what the shareholders want. And so what corporate governance tells you is the ethical considerations of the company. You want to know, is a company like a good company, right? What good corporate governance does. Good corporate governance leads to good reputation. People like the company, and so what is the importance of a good reputation? Well, if a company they're known for doing good, people want to support it, right? That's just natural. So we have happy customers. Corporate governance can also include like customer relations, stuff like that. So we've happy customers, but also happy happy society, and ultimately that leads, if people want to support the company, if it does good and they want to support the company, then that leads to profit. People want to support it. Want to invest in a company that does good in the world. An example of that I'll throw out there is John Deere. Is the tractor company is pretty well known for being a positive presence in the community, doing good, and so people want to support the company. However, companies maybe like Amazon's like known for like exploiting workers, not very good stuff. So, but Amazon's obviously still like a really strong company. But maybe think twice about investing in it because they're not good. They don't do good. They don't really treat their workers well, and so they're bad for the environment. So these are things that you want to take into consideration. And actually, I do have an entire module on investing like responsibly. So that's the last video in the series, which is coming up surprisingly, crazily. But yeah, I want to spend more time talking about that, like ethically investing. But this is kind of like an introduction to that corporate governance. So we want to consider the ethics of the company, and like you don't lose anything from investing in companies that are ethically good because of this stuff here. It follows that companies have bad corporate governance, then we get a bad reputation. It can lead to scandals, which are terrible for a business. Bad PR can lead to a scandal if like workers are being mistreated, and that gets out. The company is basically screwed because then no one's going to want to support it. So you want to, and if you own shares in a company that goes through like a major scandal, you don't want to be in that position. It's going to crash. So be sure to make sure the company is being good. They're being morally right, and you can't really go wrong with that. So that's the 4 factors. Before I go further, I want to make sure that these are the 4 factors that I think are the most important and that other people think is the most important. But there are other factors too. There are other big factors that people like for qualitative fundamental analysis. And if you go on Google, I'm sure you'll find others that are worth looking for. But these, I think, are the 4 big important ones that you can't really go wrong with. So I just want to make that clear. What's the big picture, though? After all, I spent 2 videos talking about fundamental analysis. What is the big picture here? You want to combine quantitative, I'll say quant, and qualitative factors. Combine them when you're analyzing a business. You want to look at the numbers. You want the numbers to tell you, is the company doing well? Are they profitable? Are they doing well? Are they profitable? Is the stock maybe overvalued or undervalued, and it's a good time to buy? Are they able to deal with their debt? That's what the quantitative part tells you. It deals with the actual number crunching, the actual financial situation of the company, which is important to look at. But equally important, we'll look at the qualitative factors too. We'll say, can the company last? Can they survive longer? Does the company have effective leaders, or will the leaders like screw the company up? Does the company have a solid foundation in their business model? Can they keep up making money for years to come? That's an important consideration, especially considering in today's environment where technology is progressing so fast. We have massive growth companies in tech, but can those companies last? Are they going to be able to last? Is Apple going to be able to last much longer? Or is a new product going to come out that makes the iPhone obsolete? We don't know. So you really want to consider that. Can the company last and keep making profit for years to come? Because that stock will reward you significantly. It goes back to that old debate, value versus growth. And obviously you want both. But value investing will help you make money over the long term. And so, and that's where the qualitative factors really come in. So you really need to look at both. You need to look at both how are they doing now, which quantitative uh, numbers will give you, and can they last into the future, which is what qualitative will give you. That is the importance of fundamental analysis. If you understand this, I said this in the last video too, you'll be ahead of the game. If you know how to analyze companies like this, you are able to do the research. Obviously, like look at all this work that we're doing. I'm throwing so many formulas at you, so many terms at you that you have to know, and so it's a lot of work. And to get that information, you have to research it. You have to find it online. But the reward is that you'll be very confident in your decision. You'll pick good stocks that are going to be able to give you money, return you money. You'll be confident in your decision, and you won't bail out when things get tough, which is also equally important. So that is fundamental analysis. Thank you for watching. This is probably these two videos are probably the most important videos you will see in this series. They're it's the bread and butter of investing. Its importance cannot be understated. So be sure you know this stuff. I know this video is probably a bit more interesting, but I'm sure the last one was a bore. But if you want to get some practice, you can go look up any company on this stuff. Look up any company. Find the numbers. Find their financial statements. You can look on Yahoo Finance. Their websites should have it too. You can even calculate those numbers if you want to. And you can also go on their website and find all this stuff: the management, the corporate governance, business model, competitive advantage. Do your research there, get some practice there, and you will succeed. So thank you for your time. This is a much shorter video than the last one, so I hope it was more enjoyable. And yeah, good luck, and thank you. Join me next time.